Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Apter's Alley, and today I'm answering your demand. And do you know what? You have said to me, hey, Bill Apter, whatever happened to that great segment that Mad Mac Davis, I don't know what he's mad about, had been doing at the Apter Chat road trip? Well, he has been going on the road, and he recently filed a report that I want to share with you. But before I do that, I want to thank Ross Foreman, the public relations manager of Impact TNA Wrestling, for making this next segment of Road Trip possible. Let's go right now down to Georgia, where Mac Davis goes on the road and he chats one-on-one with one of the new signees of Impact Wrestling, Luke Gallows.
Talk about money versus creative freedom, because I'm assuming that's why you made the choice for Impact. Is that right?
Yeah, but Mac, I was so flattered, first of all, by the offer that Impact came with, and it was the same one they came with back in September of 19, which was even more flattering with the circumstances. But I think that Scott D'Amore, seeing what the Bullet Club was in Japan, knowing that, Don Callis being a part of New Japan and kind of knowing the lineage that we had there, they knew they had something with us. Scott was influential in Carl's career before mine. He saw him with Roger Ruffin when he was training in Cincinnati, Ohio. And then when I was leaving TNA the first time, I had a one-year deal with a one-year option, but the option was for more money. Well, they said, we want you to stay, but there's no more money. And I went, well, that's kind of not how it works. It was completely different management at the time. So that relationship disappeared quickly, and Scott at the time wasn't working with TNA. And I went to him because he was helping Nick Aldis, Magnus at the time, negotiate another TNA contract. He was a big star there at the time. And I said, I want to go to Japan. And he goes, I think you and Carl would be great. Let me put the wheels in motion. And Scott got me my first deal in New Japan, which I think ultimately changed my whole career. So long story short, the financial offer was I was very pleased with it. But them giving us creative freedom, them giving us the opportunity to go, hey, we know, I was very adamant, and so was Carl, that it was really important to us to be able to co-promote our brands outside, because that was something we couldn't do, in New York. You can't do that. That's the way that machine works. The Talking Shop podcast, the pay-per-view that's going to air Saturday night, Talking Shop-A-Mania, the beer coming out, all the different stuff. It was really important to us, and we needed that outlet, and they basically went through and carved all that out for us. And the most important was the carve out to go back and return to New Japan Pro Wrestling, and working with us on that. So I was very pleased with that. And then when I walked in and we did our Countdown to Fucktown deal, which I think was a smashing success, and thank you all for supporting that. We go, hey, we're gonna shoot this announcement. We're gonna drop it at midnight. And basically, it's three buddies there in a studio, and I go, what do you want us to say? And he goes, say what you would say.
Whatever you want.
And I went, holy shit, is this the right decision to make? And I've been sold ever since. It's been really good. I think Slammiversary had great buzz, and then going into the tapings, it's very important.
It was the first time that I've actually purchased a pay-per-view from them in quite some time.
Yeah.
And so that's the buzz that you created enough that made me purchase that pay-per-view.
Well, I appreciate you doing that. And I think that when people did that with the other surprises and a hard-working roster behind it that maybe hadn't had the eyes it deserved for a while, that hopefully we captured some long-term viewers and some long-time Impact fans, because that's the goal. We want to make Impact as big as possible. Carl and I have been doing all these media interviews, and we're putting it out there. If you're in AEW, you're in WWE, your deal's coming up, call us, all right? Call me. We're trying to poach right now. So let's get this shit going.
Let me ask you, I know in your past you had a lot of handcuffs put on you from what you can do creatively. Are we going to see a totally different look for you and Carl when it comes to Impact?
I think so. I think you're going to see layers to us as characters, but it's really us. If you're familiar with like the Talking Shop podcast, if you're familiar with our social media, like we're a lot like the people who watch the show. We're fun-loving, beer-drinking, hell-raising, we're just dudes, man, that love pro wrestling. And I think that people want to see more of that. And they want to see this. We do have over-the-top personalities, but they've been so harnessed and so sheltered on American television. And I think that's how you truly get over. That's what got us over in Japan. And I think WWE fans kind of got a watered-down version of that. So I'm really hoping that this will open.
I know it frustrated me as a fan, so I'm sure it frustrated you as a talent to go from the Bullet Club in Japan to the Disney version.
It's different. It's a lot different, man. Yeah, for sure.
Any chances? There's a lot of people talking about you being an Impact again, and Carl, Aces and Eights keeps coming up. Is that something that we might see down the line?
You know the old adage, you never say never in this business. You've been doing it a long time, too. If the right opportunity came up, I will say this, we're definitely faction men. Carl and I have been in part of some great factions. I was a part of the Aces and Eights. And I think at some point it's inevitable that a group will be formed. What the title will be, I don't know. We were already talking about, all right, who's already here that we would want? Who can we get from the outside? Who can we surprise them with, and how do we do it? And I think it's a lot of fun. You can capture magic that way. I love the gang warfare era of the Attitude Era, WWF.
Well, it was more of the realistic, rough and tough version of pro wrestling that I grew up with.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I think we're on the same page with that, 100%.
The Talking Shop podcast has become a huge thing. And it was before, and you had to put it to the side for a while, and now you got to come back. Where all can people find the Talking Shop podcast?
Man, it's on Spotify, it's on Apple Podcasts, obviously the MLW Radio Network, but basically anywhere that you search out your podcast, you seek them out. It's Talk, the letter N, Shop. Look us up, and listen, you're not going to get a serious interview out of us, but you're going to get a damn good time, and I hope that you'll laugh along with us because we have a lot of fun doing it, and that's the point of it. It's lighthearted, and and it's definitely TVMA, I will say.
Some of the stuff I've heard you do with Stone Cold on his podcast is just absolutely damn hilarious. So I was happy to see that when it came back.
I think we drank Stone Cold out of beer, and he was like, "Get the hell out of here! I had enough."
Now, talking about the beer, you mentioned this a minute ago. You've got your own beer coming out.
We got a beer coming out, Talking Shop beer. It's going to be available. We're in a pandemic, guys. So what sucks for everybody is these labeling laws and these restrictions and stuff. It didn't come out as quickly as we wanted, but as you know, we're big self-promoters. So as soon as we can make that available to you, even if it's a limited line availability, we'll be pumping it up. I have some upstairs that's non-labeled. I had one yesterday, and I can say, not just as a pusher of the beer, it's delicious.
A pusher.
I didn't have the proper terminology there.
Now, the beer itself, how would you describe that beer?
It's a light beer with a hint of citrus. We always used to drink Bud Lights and squeeze a little bit of lime in them. That was our thing. So we wanted something that tasted close to that with our own kind of flavor to it. And we're pretty on point.
Boner Yard match. Now, we had the Boneyard match, and that's the last time we saw you in the WWE. Yeah. And now we have the Boner Yard match where somebody might get the eye poked out.
Anything can happen. The Boneyard match. It was a cinematic masterpiece, showcasing The Undertaker versus AJ Styles, and you have Gallows and you have Anderson involved. Well, then all of a sudden Gallows and Anderson go away. What kind of disservice would we be doing to our Talking Shop fans if we didn't deliver them Chad Too Bad, his 35-year partner turned arch nemesis Sex Ferguson in a Boneyard match where one man has to be buried alive, Mac, buried alive. The cameo appearances in this thing, if you don't laugh at them, then you don't love wrestling, because we had so much fun figuring all that out and making it come to fruition. And I don't know. There's a hearse outside of my house. You pulled up here earlier. You saw it. I don't know what. Do you want to buy a used hearse?
No.
Damn it. I thought maybe you would be my buyer.
I'm getting too old to have a hearse hanging around. The surprise appearances that you mentioned, there's quite a handful of those surprise appearances. I've seen some of the faces and names in there. Will we recognize some of these guys when they come out?
Oh, yeah. You'll recognize a lot of them. And you'll see some of these guys stepping out of what you would normally see them do. And that's what was so fun about it. And everybody kind of embraced it and said, hell yeah, this is supposed to be fun. Wrestling's supposed to be fun. There's social unrest. We're in the middle of this pandemic. Everything's very serious right now. And I hate that for the world that we're in. So as pro wrestlers, as entertainers, if we can give you 90 minutes where you can sit back from that, crack a beer if you do that. If you don't do that, get a pizza, do whatever your thing is. And enjoy professional wrestling with us. It's supposed to be fun, and I hope that you can laugh along and understand it's not done out of disrespect. It's a loving parody, and man, there's a social distancing battle royal. There's our tribute to the 90s. There's a briefcase and a tree match. I mean, who's ever heard of one of those? Lots of terrible things on the worst pay-per-view ever, talking Shop-A-Mania this Saturday.
And I love that tagline, the worst pay-per-view ever. You know, I was telling you earlier, I had created the Summer Redneck Games. And
Yes.
I caught hell for that.
Yes.
And it was just a tongue-in-cheek, type of event that everybody took too serious. And it's like, if you just relax and enjoy it for what it is, you'll have a great time.
I imagine there'll be a portion of the audience who feels the same way about me that felt about Mac Davis during the Redneck Games. But for the rest of you, please enjoy it. It's supposed to be fun, guys.
Lariato Pro Wrestling. This is something I really like about you, is that this is a guy that many of you may not know this, that has an independent wrestling organization where he brings guys in, both top talent and young talent, to learn. And it's something that I think we're desperately in need of today in independent wrestling, because we're losing out on the building of new talent.
Absolutely.
And this allows that to happen. Can you tell us how you got into Lariato in the first place?
Well, I had a promotion called WrestleAmerica, and without getting into the legalese of all of it, I had that for a few years here in Georgia. I had a great time with it. It basically came out of, I would come home in between these New Japan tours, and the Bullet Club was hot, and everybody wanted to book me around the country to do these cool independent events, but I was like, I can't be doing that and flying away from my son and doing all this. So I was like, well, how can I fill that void, involve the family in it? So I had an independent wrestling promotion, and for reasons I can't talk about, we ended up shutting that down. But then through some mutual friends of ours in Dublin, I was able to start Lariato up, and they've all been a great help to me. But now we have an opportunity to take Lariato to the next level. Lariato will now be appearing on Impact Plus. That's the Impact streaming service. $7.99 a month. Every pay-per-view in Impact history is available there, along with some great independent content. We're working with the content people now on some other things, but most importantly, Lariato Pro will be a feature on there. So all these great stars from around the country, from around the Southeast especially, now they get to mix in, because Impact's giving me an opportunity to have access to that roster. So anybody you see on TV on Tuesday night on Access TV, 8 p.m., could show up at Lariato. And it's a great opportunity for me. It's a great opportunity for us. It's a great opportunity for our young talent to work alongside these people and really gain some great experience, and hopefully give Georgia some kick-ass professional wrestling, which I came from the independents. I always loved the independents, and I've always gone back to the independents, and I always will. So I just want that to thrive.
And he still worked hard in the independents, believe it or not, because I've seen him behind the scenes for a long time. The upcoming pay-per-view, Talking Shop-A-Mania.
Yep.
The date is this coming Saturday, which for many people who are watching this right now, if you're watching it after the fact, it was on August 1st. But you can still get it on Fight TV.
Yep, it will live forever on Fight TV, pay-per-view. It's $14.99. So if you hate it, you can't be that mad at me. But I don't think that you will.
Let me ask you one more question. This gets away from everything else, but there seems like there may be a chess game taking place with a lot of wrestling groups now. If you look out there, you see a lot of companies where friends have friends in other companies, and it's starting to look like there could be a chance down the line where we see different feds working with each other, where we might see some super cards that we've never seen before. Is that something that we might be able to see down the line? I mean, I know you can't speak for Impact itself.
I can't speak for Impact, but I can speak a little bit for Impact, because I've been already knocking the door down on this. Our goal is for there to be some sort of working relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling and Impact Wrestling. And like you said, like, we're great friends with the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, a lot of people in different promotions. Yes. So I think these dream matches are something that the wrestling audience, the fan base deserves. I think it would be great to have some New Japan talent on American television again on Impact. I think it would be great to see some of the great up-and-coming and already established stars of Impact appear on some of these great New Japan cards. And man, professional wrestling's built on the dream match. Yes. I mean, I can't wait to get in there and mix up with the Motor City Machine Guns on Impact. But I also know that Kota Ibushi and Hiroshi Tanahashi are a tag team in New Japan now, and the possibilities with that are endless. I think back to the matches that Carl and I had with Tanahashi and Makabe, some of my favorite my entire career. Just, Tanahashi, we used to call him our Shawn Michaels, but I mean, that guy, the lineage of him and what he's done and put his body through. And just a big, hard-hitting ass kicker like Makabe, one of my favorite people to ever get in the ring and mix it up with, because you can't hit that guy too hard. I always loved working with him.
So you like working a little stiff, I take it.
A little snug ski, yeah, it doesn't hurt.
Always been the same way. I certainly appreciate your time. I know that you got a lot of other things going on.
Thank you for making the trip. I appreciate it, man.